Catching My Second Wind. In the channel, I hope to relay my experiences from becoming a boat owner, learning to sail, learning to make repairs to the boat, sailing on the Great Lakes, eventually making my way down to the ICW, across the Gulf Stream, to the Bahamas and the Caribbean, and other points yet to be determined. So to begin, I'd like to give a big shout out to Rob and Rita. Thank you for being the inspiration for the name of the channel. I'm happy we met, become friends, and I look forward to many more years of friendship with you both. I also want to give a big shout out to my buddy Fred. Fred's a longtime friend, and he has accompanied me on a few of the journeys as I've become a boat owner and taken the boat from one mooring to the next. So thank you, Fred. Thanks for your patience. So to begin, in 2015, I found myself divorced for the second time, living in a 3-bedroom townhouse. Funds were low, and I was trying to think how I could live tiny. I had a few ideas, a C-class RV, a shipping container home, but neither of them fit for me at that point in time. So I ended up buying a house, big double lot, which meant a big lawn to mow, and I was on Craigslist looking for a commercial lawnmower. I got bored one day and I thought, I'll look at boats. I had never owned a boat, really rarely if ever been on a boat, and had never been on a sailboat. So as I'm looking at boats, I'm thinking, wow, these used boats aren't that expensive. So then as I started looking and continued to look, I thought, maybe I should buy a boat. Might be a nice change of pace, and I could meet a whole new group of people, learn some new skills. So the decision then was motorboat or sailboat. Well, in my search, I had met someone and we got talking, and he said, the wind is free. And that really stuck with me. Because as I investigated motorboats and I asked about gas, and usually the answer was it's pretty expensive. It's expensive at the docks, and it's expensive if you want to go somewhere, because you may use a lot of gas. So as I thought of the saying the wind is free in a sailboat, and I tend to be a more laid-back kind of guy anyways. I'm not in a hurry to get anywhere. A sailboat just seemed to be more of a natural fit for me. Besides the fact that the wind can literally take you around the world, and most importantly, for me, there was just a greater sense of romantic adventure associated with the sailboat. So at that point, it was, all right, I know I'm going to get a sailboat. What size? Well, I decided a 30-footer was what I wanted to start at. I thought that would be big enough, roomy enough, and that would be a good point for me to learn from. So as I was looking at sailboats, I came across a 1978 Catalina 30 called Fat Cat. I went and checked it out, and I think as soon as I saw the boat, I kind of fell in love with it. The owners at that point had taken really good care of her. She was in great shape, seemed very structurally sound. I didn't really know anything about boats, but I had done some research on the internet, and I am mechanically inclined, so everything looked to be in order. I decided to make an offer. I gave them an offer that was a little bit less than what they were asking for, and they accepted my offer. I was very excited. So the next thing was the sea trial. So we got on the sea trial, and everything worked perfectly. With the purchase price that I had offered and what they accepted, I didn't see a reason to get a survey at that point in time. So we clinched the deal. I met them at the bank, gave them the money, they signed over the title to me, and the owners did really something that was really thoughtful. They gave me a C30 cap, an official C30 cap. I thought I was very excited. I just become Captain Dave, basically. I took a safe boaters course online, and at that point I had a couple days to get the boat out of its current location at that point, which was the Grosse Ile Yacht Club, and I had secured a slip at a marina off the Black River near Port Huron, which was kind of a ride because you had to take the Detroit River all the way down, cross Lake St. Clair, go up the St. Clair River, and just before you get to Lake Huron is the Black River. Then you have 3 drawbridges to contend with, and there's the marina. So my buddy Fred, who I mentioned earlier, came with me. It was about 12 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday the 13th of 2018. And not knowing anything about current, really, not knowing that the current, we'd be going against the current. About 12 hours later, we found ourselves in the middle of Lake St. Clair, And I talked to the owners during the day, and they said, if I were you, I'd find a place to moor for the night. The current is really strong on the St. Clair River. You got the freighters coming and going. You're really new to this. I just think it would be a bad idea for you to try and go through the night. So I thought, okay. So I made a couple calls. Of course, it was midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning at that point. One of the calls I made was to Jefferson Beach Marina. My friend looked at me and said, what are we going to do? I thought, you know what? We'll just find a place. We'll get a berth. I'll square up with the marina the next morning. So now in Jefferson Beach Marina, as we're going down the channel, there was this really big commercial yacht. Must have been about 120 feet. And there were actually two of them, but there was only one of them there at that point in time. The Infinity and the Ovation. And these are the type of boats that you'd rent out for a big corporate party or a wedding. They were huge. So not knowing anything about these boats, not knowing anything about where they kept these boats, as I was going in the channel, I saw one, and there was a big empty space behind the next one. There were some huge fenders against the seawall, shore power. I thought, this is great. We got these big fenders. We'll tie off. We'll plug in the shore power. I was so excited from the day and a little stressed out, I couldn't go to sleep. My friend Fred went right to sleep. And as I was walking through the marina, just thinking about the events of the day, a fellow drove by me a couple times and he said, did you park a boat here? I said, yes. He says, you got to move it right now. The other yacht that has that spot is coming back and they want their spot back. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really sorry. I did make a couple calls. Can you help me out with a transient slip? He says, we'll take care of you. Just get over there and move your boat now. So I ran over, woke up my friend. I'm going as fast as I can to untie the lines, unhook the shore power, and this guy's holding his spot in the channel in this 120-foot yacht, and all of a sudden he beeps his horn. Brrr. Then he gets on his loudspeaker, what's taking so long? And of course I felt like a big idiot, but I'm thinking, geez, guy, give me a break. Excuse me. So we found a transient slip. I was a little too embarrassed to go up to the captain and apologize, even though I probably should have. The next morning, we left for what would be, we thought, the second leg of our journey. Making our way across Lake St. Clair, up the St. Clair River, to the Black River, finally, to get to the marina. Well, as we're making our way up the St. Clair River, about 5 hours later, we're passing by the city of St. Clair and the Pine River. And I happened to be talking to the guy at the marina, the Black River, and he says, you probably picked the worst possible weekend to come up here. It's the start of the Port Huron to Mackinac race. The Black River is full of boats. I know you're new to boating. Boats are bouncing off each other, basically. People are bumping into each other. I think it would just be a bad decision for you to come up here today. Why don't you find some place, get a mooring for a couple days, and then maybe come up during the week. I said, you know what? You're right. I appreciate the advice. So we turned onto the Pine River, went through that drawbridge, and I got a slip for a couple days. And I started thinking about, how stressful it was waiting for that drawbridge to open. Freighters were coming through on the lake. I thought, if I'm on the Black River, I have 3 drawbridges to contend with every time I want to go out to Lake Huron and come back. I didn't want to do that. So I started making little calls. I found a slip at a marina off of Lake St. Clair. So basically I was going to go back the way I came. My daughter accompanied me a couple days later. It took us about 5 hours. And I was there for the summer. And it was great. It was a learning process for me. I didn't feel comfortable getting up the sails right away. So I took my time with it because I wasn't in a big hurry. I still needed to learn more about the boat. And of course there's docking, right? Which is stressful for anybody, especially a new boat owner with a sailboat. The boat had a tiller, which a lot of people like because, one, I thought it was old school. I thought that'd be kind of neat. And I think they like the responsiveness of the tiller and plus the pressure on it. They can always feel what's going on. But for me, after a while, all the pressure that's on that tiller just got to be bothersome. So I was still on the internet, just kind of always looking for maybe a better deal on a bigger boat. I already knew that I wanted to learn more. I knew that I was going to stick with boating for a long time. And so I kept searching for a bigger boat. So this was the summer of 2018. In 2019, for winter storage, I took her back to where I got her from, which was, back to where where Steel Cradle was, which was the Gibraltar Boat Yard, and she was stored for the winter. And this is where I'll end this video. Thank you. Remember, please to like, subscribe, leave comments if you want, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Bye.